Okay, so this is Will Moss with HBCU Connect, and I have Gifty Saki. So, am I pronouncing your last name correct?
Yes, Saki.
Okay,
That
excellent.
is
So, Gifty, thanks for joining us. What I wanted to do today is just share your story, and now that you're working at Microsoft,
mhm.
the fact that you actually attended one of our events. I like to share with other professionals that might be attending one of our events in the future, some of the stories and people that get hired from those events. So if you can kind of take us back through maybe how you heard about the event, and then what happened once you came to our event in Atlanta.
Okay. Okay. So this has to go a little way back because this was back in 2019.
Okay, so it
And
probably was either where did you go to undergrad?
California State University. So yeah,
And
Long Beach.
where did you go to grad school? Or did you
So
go
I
to
did that online actually. It was through North Carolina State, but at the time I was working for GE Power. And
Okay.
so that was in Atlanta and close to the Brave Stadium. And I was in the NSBE chapter in the
Okay.
Atlanta location. And so there was an email that was sent out
Yep.
for NSBE.
Hmm.
And then I saw the email and it said the BAM group, which is Blacks at Microsoft,
Yep.
was coming out to, Atlanta to recruit. And, it was one opportunity. I was looking to move back to the West Coast. And so I definitely decided to take it on. There was also going to be free food. So that was really exciting.
Yep.
No, the food was good. I remember it being very good.
That's good feedback. Yeah.
Yes, but to be honest, I wasn't sure what to expect, right? But I definitely printed out a lot of resumes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I knew what Microsoft was in general, but I didn't really know too much about the roles. And so
Okay.
I did a little bit of behind the scenes research. Originally, I was probably going to go in for a regular engineering role, so like a hardware role or something electronics related.
Mhm.
Um, at the time, I was studying controls. I was doing controls at GE, so that's what I was thinking about doing as well. And so I went to the event. I believe it was like around 6 to 8.
Yep.
And Microsoft did a couple of intros. They had different teams come out. That was really cool.
Yep.
And then they also had a lot of individuals come talk about their experiences from either moving to Seattle and stuff like that. And so after that, then they broke it up into different groups. So I think it was downstairs. They wanted that to be more or less the people that were willing to stay in Atlanta. Yep. And recruit for that office. And then upstairs was focused on if you were willing to relocate.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, so that was my big thing. I just stayed upstairs, honestly. I needed to.
So that's excellent. So let me set the background for anybody that's watching this video and you're interested in a role or opportunity at Microsoft. What Gifty is actually describing is our events pre-COVID. So we actually, usually we were hosting these events in different cities all over the country on behalf of Microsoft. Several teams partnered together within Microsoft to partner with us to host the event in Atlanta. And so, of course, whenever we do a local event, we try to reach out to the different organizations. So it sounds like you were part of the NSBE chapter there. So
Yes.
we always reach out, when we're looking for engineers. Of course, if we're in a local area, we're going to reach out to the NSBE chapter. And then sometimes people just hear about it because they're connected to us, and then they share it with their colleagues. So I'm glad you decided to join our event and actually connect with some folks at Microsoft. So tell me, like, what was the next step once you sort of connected with someone at the event? I'm sure you had some conversations. How soon after the event did you actually have an interview?
Ooh. So on my end, the last lady I connected with, her name was Vanessa. And so she was the first one that really encouraged me to really apply. And she was in the M365, so all the Office products and just stuff that Microsoft does. And so, she took down names and all of that stuff. I think for me, I thought it was a generic, thing that's always done, right? Because you always see the individual taking notes and writing. So I didn't think too much about it, but she encouraged me to apply. I didn't when I got back home. And well, I think it was a long shot, right? It seemed like I was there, I was present, but it was still almost like
there were a lot of people at that event too.
Yes, yes. And there were a lot of, I would say, more senior professionals, or they had a lot more experience than I did at the time.
How much experience did you have at the time?
Ooh, at the time it would be 2 years exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 years full time, and then
Okay.
besides internships.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, since I mentioned I didn't apply, I think about a week later, one of the recruiters reached out to me, letting me know that, hey, Vanessa had recommended me for a role. And then I was just like, oh, wait, what? So it was through that. And that was when, we set up the call for the interview. And then I had the first phone interview. The person I interviewed with was a manager under Vanessa, actually.
Okay.
And so she was definitely very impressed.
Mhm.
And she was making sure that I was getting in there, with an opportunity. And so I did the first interview probably 2 weeks after the event.
So you said the person that interviewed you worked for Vanessa?
Yes.
So kudos to Vanessa. And I mean, that goes to show like that some of the people that attend these events are high-ranking folks within Microsoft. Cool.
Yeah, actually now, and I realize, so fast forward after I'm here now at Microsoft, she's a corporate vice president. She's one of the CVPs over at, Microsoft. And so once I saw her profile later, and I'm like, was that who I was talking about?
Yes. So how many interviews did you have to have before you got the offer?
So after the first phone interview, I got invited to come on site.
Okay.
And after being on site was maybe 6 rounds of interviews.
And that was in Seattle or in Redmond?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was in Seattle, Redmond.
So it's like an all-day type of thing?
It was. It
Okay.
was all day. It was about an hour with each individual.
Okay.
So the way it's structured is with different groups or different teams.
Mhm.
That's to just diversify the opportunity and give you a better chance.
Yep.
And then there's the last round, which is with more of like a more senior principal person that, it's an interview, but it's more casual than the first ones that you had.
It's probably like a cultural fit,
Yes.
get to know you and give you a chance to get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was really cool. Yeah.
So then how long after you had your interview did it take for them to make an offer?
Ooh.
Roughly.
I would say roughly maybe 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks max. But
That's
I
good
did follow
because,
up, right?
yeah, that's good because sometimes Microsoft will do like immediate same day offers, but sometimes it could take a couple of weeks, right? Because they want to make sure that they find the right team for you, for example, or they know that there's a role that's coming up that will be a fit. So I don't want candidates that attend our events and go through the interviews to be discouraged if the offer doesn't come within a day or two, right?
Yeah.
So it took you maybe a little bit over a couple of weeks. But
So funny story.
Funny
story on mine was that the team I ended up on was recommended by Vanessa as well. So she really saw me through the whole process, which was really great to connect with her after too.
Okay, so here's a big thing too, right? So you said you were in Atlanta.
Yes.
And then you moved, when you accepted the offer, you moved to
Redmond.
Redmond?
Well, to Seattle, yeah.
Seattle. Okay, cool. So how was that transition? And can you give any pitch for anything good that happened as a part of that experience? Because I know a lot of people, they're in different parts like North Carolina, Georgia, the Texas, the Midwest. And so when they think about the Pacific Northwest, they have no idea what to think. And I know now you're in California, right? Yes. So we'll talk about that as well. But how was it for you to relocate and work with the team there in Redmond?
So on my end, I think because I was very interested in moving to the West, it wasn't too much of a hurdle.
Okay.
Microsoft did pay for, the relocation and all of that stuff. So that was it was pretty smooth, I would say.
Good.
But I wasn't interested in the weather in Seattle, I will say. It wasn't too far off from Atlanta because it rained just as much, but it was still a change. I will say when they talk about the dark, the darkness and stuff and gloomy Seattle, it wasn't as bad as we probably see it in the movies. So yes.
That's good. And then how long were you there before you relocated to California? And then sort of walk us through how that happened.
Oh, okay. So I started on March 2nd in 2020. So I actually went into the office for 2 days, right? So the orientation for new hires was on Monday, which was on the 2nd. And then on the 3rd was when COVID sort of really hit in Seattle.
I remember.
And then, yep. And then we got the first email that, hey, we're going to work from home now. And so, we just all went home that day. And ever since March 3rd, I've been working from home.
Okay.
I had signed a 1-year lease. And so I ended up staying that duration. I did visit home in California a few times, but back in October of last year was when Microsoft offered an opportunity where if you wanted to change locations of where you're working, move to a different country or move to a different state, you just bring it up with the manager.
Wow.
And yes,
That's cool.
Yes.
I think that's cool.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of where we're probably moving in the future, especially as people, I don't know, I seem to be working more since everybody's working from home. But that's great. I like that story. I like how Microsoft was flexible. I like how you're now, where you want to be. And so how has the job been as a program manager, right? So you're a program manager now. What team are you on, and what is it that you do now?
Oh, so I am on the enterprise and cloud team, and I'm currently a PM2, so program manager 2. And specifically, I work very closely with another principal lead engineer. And we have a couple of developers, so roughly, I would say maybe 8 developers that we work through various features with. And so as a PM, you're given an actual feature that you need to probably lead from beginning to end. And then you have a couple of developers that, are supposed to help you through the process. And so you work with them to, do the design specs, identify the different areas and blockers, and then they help, build the actual design. And then as a PM, you try to help unblock them whenever they have any issues. So a lot of it is communication. I lots of meetings. Very different from what I was doing before, but I really like and enjoy what I'm doing.
Excellent. So I don't want to take up your evening, but I do want to ask you, do you have any words of advice for candidates that are kind of following in your footsteps? They're coming to our events and they're having conversations with Microsoft at these events. Do you have any advice for them if they want to kind of land a job at Microsoft?
Oh, yes. Don't do what I did, right? Definitely follow up with whoever it is that you're speaking with. And I would say definitely checking out the various teams that Microsoft has. There are a lot of opportunities. They may not necessarily be in your region or specific state, but there's a lot of opportunities in Redmond and California as well. So besides
Atlanta,
in Atlanta too, yes. And then just all those things about cracking the coding interviews, cracking the PM interviews, all those things are really great resources. I use a lot of those. And online resources just about PM in general.
Good. So it sounds like you prepared and you guys just got the offer. So congratulations to you. I'm always super, it makes my day, because the way we connected. So for anybody that's watching this, the way we connected is I sent out an email inviting you to another event. And you replied back to me that, hey, I started at Microsoft. And I said, did you attend one of our events? And you said, yeah, I was at the Atlanta event. So that made my day. So congratulations. And I hope you have a very successful career at Microsoft. Of course, we're always here if you need us. And we're just trying to be a resource to provide opportunities for others. So thanks for helping us with that mission.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the invite.
Okay, so have a good evening, and I appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.